Terach was 70 years old when in the year 1948 he fathered a son whom he named Abram, which means the Prince of Aram. His eldest son was Nahor, named after his father, and his next eldest son was Haran. Abram was born from one wife, and Nahor and Haran from another. The narrative now focuses on the history of Terach's family. The following are the descendants of Terach. Terach was the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran was the father of Lot and two daughters, Sarai and Milcah. Abram grew up during the period after Nimrod, and his followers had already migrated to the plain of Shinar. Although raised as an idolater, Abram already perceived the folly of idol worship in his early childhood. When he purposely broke his father's idols, the latter brought him to Nimrod, who threw him into a fiery furnace. God miraculously saved Abram, and he emerged from the furnace unscathed. Abram's older brother, Haran, decided that he would side with whoever would win this confrontation. Upon seeing that Abram emerged unharmed, Haran declared himself to be on his side, whereupon Nimrod then cast him too into the furnace, and he died there. Thus Haran died during the lifetime of his father, Terach, in the land of his birth. And in fact, he died because his father Terach took Abram to Nimrod. The news of this incident became so widespread that Nimrod became known as Amraphel, and it means he who said fall into the furnace. And the city where it occurred became known as which means the fire of the Kasdites. Another meaning of the word is valley, since it was the capital of Nimrod's kingdom in the valley of Shinar. Abram and Nahor married. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, who was the father of Milcah, and her sister Sarai, who was also known as Yiscah, meaning far-looking, since she was gifted with divine inspiration and could foretell the future. Good-looking, since everyone enjoyed gazing at her beauty, and royal dignity parallel to her other name, Sarai, which means my princess. Abram and Nahor, the two brothers, thus both married their nieces, two sisters, the daughters of their brother Haran. Sarai was barren. She had no child, and according to Abraham's astrological calculations, he would never have any children through her. The incident of the fiery furnace convinced Terach to himself espouse monotheism, but because he did not want to acknowledge his repentance publicly, he instead decided to move to a place where he could not be a public figure, thus avoiding the need to participate in public idol worship. Terach took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, the son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, the wife of his son Abram. Terach and Abram left of the Kasdites with Lot and Sarai, heading towards Canaan. They left Nahor and Milcah behind in On the other hand, Terach knew that moving all the way to Canaan would entail espousing monotheism publicly, and he was not ready to do this. So they came as far as the city of Canaan in Aram, and settled there, while in Haran, Abraham and Sarai began to spread monotheism and gradually gathered around them a following of new believers. Their activities quailed God's anger, which had been increasingly intensifying with the spread of idolatry after the flood. In the year 2018, then Abram was 70 years old. He visited Canaan briefly, as will be described below. God appeared to him while he was there and promised to give him Canaan and to make him the progenitor of the chosen people. Abram then returned to Haran. Since his father Terach had not wanted to accompany him to Canaan, Abram had to return to Haran to continue to care for him. For until God instructed him explicitly to leave, he was still legally bound to observe the commandment of parental respect. By this time, Abram had learned of God's original instructions to humanity that were preserved by Shem and Eber. He had begun to observe these teachings, which God would later give to his descendants as the Torah. Nonetheless, he did not circumcise himself because this would have violated God's explicit commandment not to shed human blood. His voluntary assumption of the Torah's commandments did not have the legal power to override an explicit directive. All of Tadok's days came to 205 years, and Tadok died in Haran in the year 2083, but because he was outwardly an idolater, he was considered figuratively dead, even while he was alive, for the wicked are considered dead even in their lifetimes, whereas the righteous are considered alive even after their death.